What's up, everybody? Spy Hunter Trading here. I want to walk through. Let me turn that off so you guys can hear me. Want to walk through a few examples today. The Spy Hunter signal engine has not produced a single alert since before Thanksgiving. The market has not been giving us trend days, or at least not fast enough trend days like we were getting the last month and a half before that. We were absolutely killing it. So we've had to shift our strategy a little bit, right? And the shift for me has been jumping back into watching price action closer to see exactly where institutions are jumping in, jumping out. Because if you're like me, the first couple days since they kind of changed the structure of the market, you'll see these breakout candles, right? That, oh man, the market is about to moon, or the market is about to dump. Look at that candle, it's so strong. And then instantly they reverse and trap you the very next candle. And there's nothing you can do. And they've been doing that now over and over and over now for several days in a row. And so this is where price action comes into play, and hopefully will help you guys with whatever strategy you use. This is a strategy that you can use. But if anything, it at least gives you some more information, some more intel into kind of how market makers and institutions are thinking. So first off, I want to jump in and describe a few indicators, right? Let me bring up the first one here. First one's going to be our simple volume profile, right? I believe that's what it's called in TradingView. Session volume profile. That's what this is called. Search that up in TradingView. It's free. You should be able to find that. What this indicator is going to do is going to give you 3 lines, right? I've changed the color of mine. It's going to give you a red, aqua, green. Red is what we call the volume average high. Green is what we call the volume average low. And this aqua color is the POC. Okay, hopefully you've heard that term before. POC, point of control. All right, so volume area high is the highest price zone where the market was comfortable trading during this session. So for me, that acts as resistance, right? For me, it's the ceiling, right? This is the ceiling so far today. Not today, but just in this example I'm showing. The green is the exact opposite, right? Acts as support, it's the floor. This is where the market is comfortable trading again in the session. It represents support. When price stays above that, the market is considered structurally healthy. When price breaks and holds below that, downside risk increases. Price breaks and holds above this line, upside risk increases, right? And then POC is kind of your magnet, right? It's the single price level where the most trading has occurred for that session. All right, it represents the fair value for the session. Now, the one thing I should mention is these move throughout the trading day. They move, right? As price increases, all of a sudden you'll see them start to jump up. Price decreases, you'll see them start to jump down, because the market is shifting, right? The market is then agreeing, okay, now this is a good price. So just 2 things to keep in mind as we go through here, where these levels are at. The next one I look at is the initial balance. I use the one from Lux Algo. It's free out there in TradingView as well. Initial balance breakout signals is what it's called. This is going to add a green line at the top and a red line. I think it's this one. Yeah, a red line at the bottom. What this keeps track of is similar to an orb, right, where you look at the 5-minute opening range and the 15-minute opening range. The initial balance looks at the first hour range. First hour of the market session is what it looks at. And it marks those out for the rest of the day. So again, you can think of those as a ceiling and a floor. Okay? As we go through this, I'll get through this and start to dive deeper into examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. All right, so those are really the levels that I look at, and I'll add some more indicators here as we go through, but I want to hit this play so that we get into yesterday, which was December 3rd. Did I hit? Okay. Speed this up a little. There we go. Okay. So here you can see, right? Opened right here. We got through our first hour of the day. I'm sorry, on this candle close. So you can see our initial bounce is set right here as the high. Initial bounce low is set down here as the low. Now those should hold true and just stay there the rest of the day. They shouldn't shift. You can see our volume area high is right here. Our volume area low is right here. So ceiling, floor. You can see our POC is right here, almost right in the middle between these two. All right, so what happens, right? What are you trying to tell me here? All right, so what I'm trying to tell you is that price opens down here, it tests the volume area low, rejects, right? Again, the floor. Okay, bounces back up here, just a nice candle right here. It tests the volume area high, rejects hard. Now what I'm trying to show you with this strategy is that, look at this. That's a nice candle, right? People get excited like, oh man, this thing is about to tank. Nope, wrong. Sure, it goes down, right? You could have made money off of this trade if you exit. But if you don't, you're like, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it because it's going to waterfall down and then it reverses back against you and then you get this monster candle. Well, guess what? Now you're trapped, which sucks. It's not a great feeling. So then right here, same thing on this candle. Oh, yep, that was a fake out. This thing's reversing, it's mooning, it's going to go. I'm getting in right here. You get in at 682. Oh my God. Absolutely get tanked the next 5-minute candle. I'm like, all right, well, now my psychology is shook. I don't know what to do. Nothing's working. This strategy keeps you out of both of those trades, right? If you're a scalp trader and you can get in and get out quick, great. You would have made money there. If you're a momentum trader like me, you avoid both of those trades and don't. You just miss them, right? You're like, thank God I didn't get in either of those because I would have lost a ton of money. All right, so what we're looking for here is continuation. So you can see we get it right here. What we're looking for in our first setup, we're looking for a close above the volume area high, which is this red line right here. We get it right here on this candle. Then we don't enter. We're not saying, okay, well, that's great, I'm getting in. Here we go. Nope, we're waiting for a close and an open and close to hold above this volume area high, which it does. So you can see right here, we get a signal like, okay, it just did it, right? We get in on this candle, we exit if it closes and closes, right? Not wicks down. If it closes below the volume area high, then that would be our stop. We would get out of the trade. So you can see it keeps going, it plays, it keeps going. It comes down here and tests it, but doesn't. It defends it, right? So now this is acting as support, and then it goes and breaks above. You can also see another interesting thing here that adds more confirmation for us. The initial balance, right, is right here, this little green line. That was the top of the opening range for the day. We broke through it here. We didn't hold it right there, right? We barely closed below it, but then we did hold and close above it right here, right? Just more confirmation. But really what we're looking for here is the VAH break and hold above that. We get it, We hold through that. Let's see how the trade plays out. Okay, so one thing we got right here, we broke out up here, right? And depending on where you want to take your profit, you win that trade. If you hold it, it does come back down here and close below the VAH, invalidates your trade, you get out, right? So then we wait for the next setup. But what I want to add in here is the VWAP. So the VWAP, I don't use it like most people use it for, you know, calls and puts, prices above or below. I just use the bands on the VWAP. So I use as take profit levels. So band 1 and 2 multipliers I have on there. Purple is band 1. This mustard color is band 2. And same thing below, right? Band 1, band 2. So this is just how far away price is from the VWAP. So on this trade that we entered right here, you see price comes up and hits VWAP band 2. That's my first take profit level. I'm moving my stop up to there, and if I get stopped out, great. If it continues, great. I'm looking for the next take profit level, right? Which we'll get into as well. So in this trade, I actually would have taken profit here and got stopped out because this next candle absolutely plummets back down into the volume session range. Okay, so we're waiting for a next setup. You can see here another big, huge candle that breaks out of the VAH. This one opens and closes above it and holds. So right here, I'd be looking for another entry, right? And my take profit level would be right here at the VWAP 2. So let's slow this down a little bit now and see how this plays out. Get stopped out, right? Get stopped out right here. Losing trade. Price comes all the way back to POC. All right, now we're just waiting. We're hands in pocket. We're waiting for the next setup. Okay, so here we go again. Price breaks above the VAH and holds and closes above there, right? So now we're waiting for the next 5-minute candle to open and close above the VAH for us to consider a call. And there we go. You can see this next candle. You saw VAH jump up here for a second and then move back down. That happens throughout the day. That just means that more volume is coming into the market at that time. So it's starting to shift around. Sellers are probably jumping in here. Our buyers are getting excited, saying I'm getting in. But anyway, this candle opens and closes above there, so we're looking for a call right here. Right? Call at the close of that if you feel confident that it's going to hold. Or call at the open of this candle. You can see this candle instantly goes up to the second band of the VWAP for your first take profit target. Let's see what happens here. Get a rejection off of VWAP. And price just keeps going. So if you would have held a runner, you could have captured some more profit on this one. But for me, I would have been out a long time ago. You can see VAH is still holding down here. I think it jumped up a little bit there a second ago, but still holding this. Gosh, I hope you're not holding this trade still at this point, but if you are, this is your invalidation zone, 683.11, because that's what your original trade was based off of. If VAH jumps up to here, right, and you're like, crap, well now it's above, I'm in a trade and it's now above my price, should I exit, right? If VAH is jumping up and following you, typically that's bullish, right? That means, okay, the market is now agreeing that, hey, they're agreeing on this price up here. which should lead to continuation, right? Doesn't always, but should be more confirmation that you made the right move and you're still in the right trade. VH is moving up, just moved up big time there. Right, so at this point, I don't know what to tell you, right? I would be out long ago, but it looks like VAH is still moving up, and the only reason I'm out is because price hit my target. So let's rewind back to where it hit my target. I got out, and let's see if we get another setup to re-enter. So I think this is where we are looking to enter. Yeah, we get out right there. Dips back down. Now it breaks again. It holds right there, but then that one invalidates it. Breaks again. Holds. We should get into one right there. Invalidates it. Now we're not in a trade. Breaks right there. Holds. We get in. Now we're looking for that VWAP 2. Still holding. Now we're getting towards the end of the day. If I remember, I don't think it gets there. Yeah, it doesn't. So, again though, you get into continuation trades and you feel confident about the trade because of where you're entering at, right? You're not entering on a huge candle breakup and then only to have it reverse right back down against you. You're looking for a breakout, a hold, then you get in and you hit your price target, right? You'll hear some people say 3 candle rule, this, that, and the other. I mean, that's essentially what they're looking for, right? Is I want a candle here. I want this the next candle to hold. Then I'll look for a trade. Right? I want a candle here. This next candle to hold. Then I look for a trade. Right? This candle here. Oh, doesn't hold. I'm not doing that. Right? I'm not getting in. Same with this one. This candle here, you would have wanted this candle to hold right here, and it didn't, to get into a call. All right, let's play this on into today's session, which today's session didn't have great price action structurally, but what it did provide is what I add to this. You guys don't have to, but I add the 15-minute opening range to the same chart. And that's what I will play on a daily basis if it presents itself. So right here, you can see the opening range is set with the white lines, the high and low of the 15-minute range, and then my same rules apply as I do with what I showed you before. I wait for price to break below the range, which right here, this candle breaks below the 15-minute low opening range. I wait for the next candle to hold that, which this one does. Then I look to enter. I entered on this candle today, and my target was down here, the VAL, and it hit it. Right? So then I move my stop to here, and then this candle right here went all the way down here and instantly reversed back up. It was a pretty quick wick, but I think I made 40% off of this trade. Might have actually been 70%. One of them I made 70%. I made 40%, 70%, 20% on the 3 trades I took today. So then it reversed. Somewhere down here I got stopped out. That was one trade for the opening range. Price comes back up. Actually, test POC, test the VAH, rejects, comes back down. Now it gives us another 15-minute opening range breakout, right? Because this doesn't move now, these white lines. Price comes down here. This closes below the 15-minute opening range. You want the next candle to hold. It does. You enter at the end of this candle if you feel confident it's going to hold, or the start of this one, right? Then you're looking for a quick take profit right there. Small. You can also use the VWAP band 2 like we talked about as another take profit level, and then your maximum one again would be the floor, right? Your initial balance, 1 hour opening floor is what your next take profit would be. Yep, so I think this was the one I got 70% on, because I got in right here. It came all the way down here, and once it got down towards there, I said I'm good, because I didn't trust this based off how it reacted the last time it was down here. So I got out 70% profit on that trade just with the opening range. And you can see we're still trying to play the price action, right? It's just not giving us any good trades because your VAL is right here. You're not getting anything that closes below there. You get this one that closes below, but then look, next candle doesn't hold it, right? No continuation to the downside. So I can't play that. But I'm just playing the orb at this point. Now it's getting ridiculous. I'm like, 2 prints on orb in one day is kind of unheard of. But then here we go again, right? Price comes up, invalidates the orb trade, then instantly comes back down. This closes below. It's like, all right, well, I'll see if I can get a third one. So then we wait for this candle to close and hold. It does. I'm back in. On this one, though, I didn't, since it was the third attempt to try to print this orb, I waited. And I think I got in somewhere up here is where I entered the trade, and I had my take profit was going to be down here. But I actually, this one took too long, so I exited with a 20% profit just because I already didn't trust it a third time before I entered it. Yeah, see, I got out. I think I remember saying this in a streamer chat I was watching. I said, God, I'm glad I got out of that trade. I got out on this candle somewhere for 20%. And then look what happened, right? So I'm glad my instincts were right on that one. But then back to the price action example, right? So here's a qualifying one. Oh, it moved. All right, so let me go back to this bar where VAH was. I had called it quits for the day at this point. So I missed this setup. But dang it. So here, this was a setup, right? This candle. Sorry, no, it wasn't, because VAH moved before. Yep, before this candle closed. Wow. Okay, so there's a break and hold. All right, let's see how that would have played out. So here's a break above VAH, an open and close above VAH, right? And then it looks like it gets invalidated pretty quickly. All right, so I would have got into a trade right here and got stopped out once it crossed below VAH. Just no continuation. Oh my gosh, good thing. I would have got out right there. POC moved up. That's big for bulls. Yeah, I think that's where it's at right now. So Yep, it is. So no price action breakouts today. But hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I will throw up a little guide that I made. Which one is it here? There we go. If you guys want to pause and just take these in so you understand. One thing I didn't mention was that the time-weighted average price. I put that on my chart. I don't really use it for anything. It usually follows pretty closely to VWAP. Like I said, I don't really use VWAP for anything other than the bands as price targets or take profit targets. But really, everything kind of becomes a take profit target, right? Once you're in a trade, depending on what's above you. If I enter a trade at VAH and the initial balance is above me, that's one of my profit targets. If the VWAP band 1 and 2 are above me, those are also take profit targets. Sometimes you're not always going to get, usually I haven't seen where you get the take profit for VWAP band 1. Usually price is already above that, so it's band 2 and initial balance as kind of take profit levels. What else is on here? Yeah. See, I'll just leave that there so you guys can, if you want to copy it or screenshot it, whatever, to reference back to later on. All right. I think that covers everything. Like I said, I have another strategy that I like to use, which is my Spy Hunter signal engine. I've got videos on that too. That gives you buy and sell signals, but just the market has not been in a momentum trending market the last 2 weeks, and so now's not the time to use that. They've switched it up on the structure at the moment, so just bouncing all over the place. You can see here so far today, no clean trades for price action. Yesterday gave a few, which was great, but hopefully that helps. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you too much, but really the key of these is to tell you where institutions are jumping in and defending price, where they're jumping in to say this is a fair price, where they're jumping in to say this is the floor, right? We don't want it to go any lower, and those do move throughout the day, which is awesome, right? Because then that's real time. You're not saying, oh well, 7 days ago price reacted at this level, so now I expect it to react there, which does happen. But I'd rather have real-time data to go off of, where people are jumping in and trying to defend levels. And then also same thing for breakouts, right? If price breaks above the VAH and holds there, we can feel good about continuation. And if it doesn't, we know where our stop is. We're not holding the trade forever hoping that it turns around. We know where our stop is, we get out, and we wait for the next setup. That's it. Then it becomes a discipline thing and a repetition thing rather than guesswork. Any questions? I'm happy to answer. Just put them in the comments. I'll check and try to answer those. But yeah, again, this strategy doesn't predict tops and bottoms. It tells you where price is accepted, where it's rejected, so that we can be aligned with where the market sees the value at. All right. If you want more real trading education without the hype, hit subscribe, like the video. I appreciate it. I'm just starting this out. I've been trading for several years. I just want to try to help people and eliminate all the pain that I went through when I first started. Thanks, everybody.